I think that museum and galleries are great because they force a kind of longer perspective on the work. Like, what will this look like in 100 years? Ultimately, even though I'm working with a lot of cultural artifacts that are relatively current, it is my goal that they have greater relevance in the future. Generally, I wouldn't call myself a new media artist, like consciously. Maybe 10 years ago when people said new media, they meant a particular kind of art, which was blinking LEDs or something. Now when people say new media, I think it's meant more broadly, just any kind of media that hadn't previously existed. I love pop culture, but also, yeah, I have a great interest in the history of the avant-garde and what all these other artists have done to play around with what art is and the meaning of art. It's a game, I think. All new media becomes old within like 2 years, and so all new media is old media. Although in the larger scope of art history, it is new. A few years ago, I won an auction for an obsolete architectural printer, which prints with pen and pencil. All of a sudden, when I found that I could draw and be in front of a computer at the same time, I was like, oh, I'm gonna start drawing. This is like perfect. They're technically kind of prints, but they're also drawings. And I like to pick things that people can't really yet see its value. It hasn't yet become of interest. The game is always to give people something that they recognize, but that might not entirely make sense to them. In 2002, I made a work called Super Mario Clouds. It is generated off of a modified Super Mario Bros. Cartridge. When the cartridge is inserted, the only thing that you see is a blue sky and clouds from the game. I think it started reaching a broader kind of fine arts audience after the 2004 Whitney Biennial. 7 years later, I had a show at the Whitney called Pro Tools, which was a show of new work. For that show, I just basically went wild and just put all the weird stuff I was working on in the Whitney at the same time. The bowling piece is called Various Self-Playing Bowling Games, featuring bowling games, and I will modify them so they can only throw gutter balls over and over again. And it is a kind of multi-channel installation. It's similar to the clouds in many, many ways. It's about repetition, the digital representation of the natural. Usually when an artist has a show like that at a place like the Whitney, yeah, they're an older artist, it's a retrospective, but I was in my early 30s. And so it was really an amazing once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Both the Whitney was taking a risk, and they were okay with me taking a risk. Like, they just basically let me go wild. Being an artist is tough, and it means a lot when people trust you. A new space, a new neighborhood, it's very New York. It's flowing along with the way that the city works, which is constant change. The Whitney, it feels like a kind of home in a weird way.